What is up, guys? Welcome back to Picking a Fight. I'm Lach.
I'm Jeff.
And today we're going to be looking at UFC Fight Night Volkov versus Aspinall. We're going to be looking at the co-main event, Arnold Almighty Allen versus Dan the Hangman Hooker. We got Arnold Allen at 17-1. He's 28 years old, standing at 5'8" with the 70-inch reach advantage. His last two are back-to-back wins over Nick Lentz against fellow up-and-comer Sadiq Youssef, a decision win. And then we got Dan the Hangman Hooker making his return to featherweight to 145. He's 32 years old. He stands at 6 foot with a 75.5-inch reach advantage, and his last two was a loss to Islam Makhachev, and before that was a decision win over Nasrat Haqparast. What you think, Jeff? But but before that, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. We post videos like this for almost every fight night and pay-per-view, so go ahead and subscribe if you're into stuff like this. And yeah, what you think, Jeff?
I think I'm gonna judge this one probably by the level of competition that they faced.
Oh, MMA math, huh?
I mean,
that doesn't work.
Not necessarily, right?
Yeah, but okay,
but like
go ahead.
Dan Hooker, right? He faced the best of the best, I think, in his career, right?
Yeah.
And I think Arnold Allen, I mean, his previous fights, I mean, they were like Sadiq Youssef was like a young rising star, right? And then who was before that?
That was Nick Lentz.
Yeah,
he
Nick
was
Lentz.
around 36 years old, I think.
Yeah,
when he fought. So
like it was like he was kind of going almost out, heading out the UFC because he's getting old, right?
Yeah.
And Dan Hooker, I mean, he fought Dustin Poirier, he fought Islam Makhachev, he fought
Edson Barbosa,
Paul
Islam Makhachev.
Felder. Yeah, like he's
Michael
just
Chandler.
the level of competition. I mean, they're all ranked fighters there. Yeah, so I mean, the level of competition. I mean, he didn't win all of those, of course, but I mean, like
he actually lost almost all of those. Right?
Yeah, I think Hooker is better. I think Arnold Allen he's not bad, but I think the level of experience and the level he's at is gonna show in this fight. I think Dan Hooker is gonna win.
By what decision?
Probably by decision. I'm not sure if he's gonna knock him out or not, but I would say safe bet is decision.
Yeah, like everything combined, for sure, this is Arnold Allen's biggest test. Sadiq Youssef was, in my opinion, a good win, but he's just like he is, like an up-and-coming guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Sadiq Youssef really hasn't faced the talent, like, as, a lot of talent in the UFC. Neither has Arnold Allen, but Dan Hooker is a great test, I think, because Dan Hooker, I mean, like, you've named all those people, but he literally lost to all those fighters. So, I mean, he has shown that he can be up there. Like, he can be top 15 for sure, but he'll never be like top 5 material kind of thing. And he's not past his prime, but we kind of know what the level for Dan Hooker is.
Yeah.
And Arnold Allen, we're not sure yet, right? He's done pretty well with the competition he has. I feel like he hasn't really shown out, though. I mean, the Nick Lentz fights were good, but Lentz brought that fight to him, and he backed him up the whole time. Against Youssef, he looked a little better, but again, Youssef was the one pressing forward. So I don't know. I think Dan Hooker is a great litmus test him, because if he can beat him, I mean, I think he deserves to be maybe like, top 10, top 15 material, and from there, he can fight better and better opponents. Because I mean, Dan Hooker, he's one of the more popular fighters, and he's definitely a fan favorite. But I don't think he is an elite fighter like the rest were at 155 or 145. But I think this is gonna be very telling of where Arnold Allen will stand right now. Obviously he's only 28 years old. He's still really young, but I mean, he's looked pretty good. His striking is pretty crisp. I think he has pretty good movement. He likes to fight at range, and I think he will have the speed advantage in this fight. I think that he's faster than Dan Hooker. He's not Michael Chandler fast, but I think he will be faster than Dan Hooker. And him being the shorter fighter with the shorter reach, he's going to have to be the one, I think, to kind of press, because I think he will be, again, moving backwards. I think Dan Hooker, I mean, he's been known. I mean, besides the Michael Chandler fight, I mean, he does be walking, and the Makhachev fight, he'd be walking his opponents down if you're willing to strike. Arnold Allen trains at TriStar with Faraz Zahabi. Okay, this is just a prediction. Like, I think they're gonna wrestle, man. I think they saw what Makhachev did, and they think they can replicate it to some extent. Because I mean, obviously Arnold Allen, he's not Khabib or Islam, or I think they think that Hooker has a weakness, and I think it is the ground game. I think they can submit him, but I think Arnold Allen's might not be good enough to get the takedowns consistently, right? Because Dan Hooker couldn't get up. We've seen it, against Dustin Poirier and stuff like that. He was able to get up against guys that, his wrestling isn't the best.
Yeah.
And I think Arnold Allen is one of those guys. I think they have decent. I think both these guys' defense is not the best. I think, and their grappling is also not that great in general. I think it's pretty solid for MMA, but it's not the best. And I think they'll cancel out. To be honest, I think they'll cancel out and they will not grapple and they'll just strike. And then Arnold Allen will be the one backing up. Dan Hooker will be pressing forward. But I think with the speed, Arnold Allen might be able to I think this fight is going to decision, and it's either going to be Arnold Allen touching Hooker up a little on the outside and getting out, or it'll be Dan Hooker doing enough, because they will trade a few times, and Arnold Allen isn't really known for his power. While Dan Hooker, I mean, he's willing to take one to give one, and the one he gives will be harder than the one he takes. And so I think he's willing to trade that. And if that happens, I mean, the judges usually favor the bigger punches, the ones that make people go, oh,
And then you also mentioned that he's fighting at featherweight this time, right?
Yeah, that's another big what if. Like a lot of times when you cut that much weight, your chin tends to go. He got cracked at 145. He got knocked out by Michael Chandler. Or TKO'd, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And, cutting an additional 10 pounds, who knows how that'll affect him, But Arnold Allen doesn't have the power. But, I mean, if he has a bad weight cut, that could leave him in a pretty bad spot. Who knows how his cardio. I mean, it's only 3 rounds, so I doubt his cardio will be a problem regardless. But it's a big what if. I think Dan Hooker wins by decision. You said that as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dan Hooker, I'll agree with you. Like I said, he's going to be the one pressing forward, and they're going to exchange a couple of punches. I think it's going to be a little slow because Arnold Allen likes to pick his shots, and I think Dan Hooker will pick his shots a little too. But I think he'll land the bigger looking shots, and I think that will sway the judges to decision. I think this fight could go either way, to be honest. Like in my mind, these guys are kind of equal level. And their style is very, not similar, but I think it'll be like a slow kind of like the Hack Perez fight was with Dan Hooker. Well, all right, guys, those are our predictions. We both think Dan Hooker will win this by decision. We think it's going to be a close one. We think Arnold Allen is really going to get put to the test. And for right now, we're going to go with the veteran. We think he's going to do enough to get it done. But let us know down below. Do you think Arnold Allen is for real and he's going to make quick work of Dan Hooker? Or do you think maybe it's not his time yet? Let us know down below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. We make videos like this for almost every fight night and pay-per-view. So go ahead and check those out if you haven't. And we're actually doing 2 other fights, the Patty the Batty fight and the main event for this fight. For this fight night card. So go ahead and check those out if you haven't. And yeah, don't forget to tune in. It's going to be a great night of fights at UFC London. Don't forget to tune in.
See ya.
See ya.